So the first thing that we talked about in this lesson was solving equations with variables on both sides. Now, everything you've learned in section 2.2 and 2.3 is still true. You still try to get the variable by itself by moving things away from it by doing the opposite. You move the number that is furthest away from the variable first. So we're just adding to that. All those rules are still true. We're adding to that. And what we're adding to that is when you have variables on both sides, the first thing you do is you get the variables together. So let's take a look here at number 1. So I went on and drew my line down the equal sign. And what we see here is we have 5x minus 3 equals 13 minus 3x. So we have variables on both sides. We have an x on the left and an x on the right. So the first thing we want to do is get those x's together. So it does not matter which one you move. You can move the 5 to the right or move the 3x or the negative 3x to the left. It does not matter. Now, when we get to inequalities, you're going to want your variables on the left. So it's a good habit to get into to always take the one that's on the right, move it to the left. So we're going to move the 3x. Now be careful here. When you move the 3x, you're moving it together. So you don't move this by dividing because you see multiplication. You move it by whatever the sign is of the 3x. So the 3x is negative, so we're going to move it by adding. So you're going to add the 3x over. And when you move it to the other side, you put it together with the 5x. So 5x plus 3x is going to be 8x. So you get 8x minus 3 equals 13. So you just bring down all the stuff that you didn't use. All right. At this point, you're to a two-step problem. And at here, you should be pretty comfortable about what to do from now on. So you have 8x minus 3 equals 13. So you got to get the x by itself. The 8 and the 3 are hanging out with it, so they both have to move. The negative 3 is further away, so we're going to move it first. Because it's negative, we're going to add it over. So we get 8x equals, and then 13 plus 3 is 16. And to finish it off, 8 times x, so we would divide by 8 to move it, and we get x equals 2, because 16 divided by 8 would be 2. So that is how you solve with variables on each side. Let's try it one more time over here on number 4. All right, so again, we're going to draw our line down the equal sign. And what we see this time is we have a 5n on the left and a 4n on the right. So we need to get both of these together. Again, it doesn't matter which one you move, but I like to take the one on the right and move it to the left. So I'm going to move the 4n over. It's subtracting or it's negative, so I'm going to add the 4n over. And I'll put it together with the 5n. So I get 14 plus 9n, because 5 plus 4 is 9, equals 17. So again, at this point, you just have a two-step problem. So you got to move the 14 and the 9 away from the n. We move the 14 first because it's further away. So I subtract 14 over. I get 9n equals, and then we say 17 minus 14, which gives me 3. Now, this is where a lot of students make mistakes. Remember, whatever you're moving goes second. So right here, you have 9 times n, so we're going to divide by 9. And we get 3 divided by 9, which is a repeating decimal. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Math Enter on our calculators and take it back to a reduced fraction, which would be 1/3. Now do not get confused here. I have a lot of students that would do this backwards right here and say 9 divided by 3 and get 3, but that is wrong. Remember, the number you're moving goes second. So since we're moving the 9 goes second. So that's how you solve with variables on each side. Next, we'll look at how to do this with grouping symbols.